NFL fans, how you doing? Let's get into it. The ratings are in. The first game, Saturday afternoon, between Michigan and Birmingham, averaged 1.1 million viewers, topping out at nearly 1.5 million viewers. The second game, Sunday night, 7 p.m., which had to go up against Game 2 of the NBA Finals, drew 1.274 million, also topping out at 1.5 million. That's a 35% increase over this time last year when the USFL, when the USFL had their weekend playoffs. And I'm telling you right now, these ratings are pretty damn good. To draw 1.5 million peak while the Game 2 of the NBA Finals is on, that is good. I'm telling you right now, everything's in place for spring football, except we just need to put more fans in the stands, and they're going to have to go after a marketing campaign off the season to do that. But overall, for this weekend, you got to be pretty happy with these ratings. And next Sunday night, considering the game is kicking off 5 p.m. Eastern on a Sunday night with zero competition from the NHL, NBA, there's no reason why we can't draw close to 2 million. And since the time is on pretty early and it's not going to go too much into a work night on the East Coast, I'm expecting a real good rating next week. So, let's get into the observations of the conference championship weekend. Number one, beating a team 3 times in a year is pretty difficult. Go ask New Jersey Generals in 2022, when they beat the Philadelphia Stars twice, including Week 10, and then lost the next week and got dominated by the Stars that game. Last year, the Roughnecks beat the Arlington Renegades twice, including Week 10, and then get dominated as the home team a week later. And now, St. Louis, who has beaten San Antonio 3 straight times in the regular season, beat them twice this season, got dominated at home against the Bombers. I guess it isn't easy. But this comes to my second point. Point number 2. Birmingham seems to make a living beating 3 teams in a season. They did it last year. I think was it beating New Orleans 3 times? Was it Pittsburgh 3 times? Yeah, they beat Pittsburgh and New Orleans 3 times last year. They played them both in the playoffs. Year before that, same thing. And now, this year, they've beaten Michigan 3 times. A very, very good Michigan team. That tells you how good this Birmingham team has been this year. Most people thought it. I definitely said it. If you go back 12 weeks ago, I said Birmingham, to me, has the best team. And I'm going to stick with them until someone proves me otherwise. Well, here you go. Now they're going to this game 10-1. Looking for a three-peat. Not a three-peat in the USFL, but this is going to be their 3rd consecutive championship this week if they win. The opponent is going to be tough, and this game is not going to be easy. Point number 3. If they ever gave us a spring football wing of the Football Hall of Fame, or they gave us a spring Football Hall of Fame, A.J. McCarron needs to be in there. What this man has done for the league, what this man has done for the city of St. Louis is unbelievable. In his press conference about how he's been playing her whole year, I mean, he is 32 years old. He's not over the hill, but in terms of football, he is getting old. And how he's going to need surgery to repair that ankle. How he told the Bengals to cut him so he could play this year in St. Louis. I would put A.J. McCarron in the spring football wing of the Hall of Fame, just for what he's meant to the city. And you know what? He was a great quarterback at Alabama, won a couple national titles. But what he did this year in that press conference, to play so his kids could see him play, I've taken my respect for the man has just gone this high. And I hope he comes back this year. But if he doesn't, because he decides, maybe he wants to coach instead, which I hear there's a rumor he may be interested in getting the coaching. I don't know. I would want to see him at least have another shot in the NFL now, even if it's a third-string quarterback or a practice quarterback. Hey, listen, I will give the Josh Johnson example again. Josh Johnson, I think his net worth is about $7 million, being a career practice squad and third-string quarterback. And that man, Josh Johnson, has invested his money well because he's of his net worth right now. There are a lot of players who make a hell of a lot more than him that go broke when their football career is over because they don't know how to handle money. That's just a fact. Go look at the Forbes article about that. But we need more players like A.J. McCarron to make this league grow. You could put him up there with, maybe Alex Magoo, who only played 1 year but had a very impactful year. Jordan Tambu is another. Luis Perez, of course, they call him Mr. Spring Football. He's also 32 years old. He's getting up there too, so we could be we may be needing more quarterbacks in the future. But point number 3, if I had a spring football wing of the Hall of Fame, A.J. McCarron would be there. And I hope he comes back for the Battlehawks next year. And after what this man has done for this league, giving up his body so his kids can see him play, I hope he comes back next year with the Battlehawks. I would like to see him maybe play and win a championship, even though I'm a Defenders fan, because what he's meant to this league. And point number 4, we see what experienced coaching does. This weekend you had Mike Nolan versus Skip Holtz, an NFL coach versus a career college coach. In the other game, you had Mike Beck against Wade Phillips. 3 of the 4 are big-time veteran coaches. Last year, you saw how well the veteran coaches did in both leagues. In the USFL and EAF, experience matters in coaching. And you give Wade Phillips 2 weeks to prepare for the same team, as Andy Beck found out, you see what a veteran coach can do. And these are the type of coaches this league needs to keep around. I remind you how Mike Riley and Steve Spurrier did in the AAF. They were good. They were very good. How Mike Riley did with the Generals in his 2 years, especially the first year. Experience matters. And this whole thing about hiring these young coaches like Rod Woodson, Hines Ward, let them work their way up. If this league is going to survive, they need plenty of things. They need solid offensive lines, they need good quarterback play, and they need veteran coaching. To think otherwise, you are nuts. Point number 5, as we're seeing already, I said St. Louis winning that game against San Antonio was vital for the league. Not because San Antonio wasn't a good team, but because St. Louis was hosting the UFL championship game. And now with St. Louis knocked out, we see a lot of St. Louis fans who bought tickets for the UFL game now sell them off. Folks, you have tickets to a championship football game. Just go to it and support the league. We don't care if you come in your St. Louis stuff. Now you can say, well, I already spent money in the league already and they got my money. Then just come up and show up and make it look good for television and just support the league. Buy food. We don't care. Jesus. I'm telling you, St. Louis fans, this was your week to shine. And right now, you're making Jason Spurgeon of the Field Network look 100% correct. If you wanted to send a message to the NFL, it was this week saying, we deserve a team. I will just leave it at that. And listen, St. Louis fans, I like the fans in St. Louis. I like the Battlehawk fans. I'm going there this Sunday to see the game. I was hoping to see a whole bunch of you wear your jerseys. That's point number 5. Point number 6, we just discussed, the ratings were very good. They peaked at 1.5 million apiece. And there's not much else to say. I already said it. And let's see. Point number 7. The Rock was nowhere to be found. Here it is. He's supposed to be the face league, player 54. And he wasn't there for the trophy presentation for the USFL conference game or the XFL conference game. Danny Garcia was. But let's face it, even though she's the first female owner of a sports league, people rather see The Rock. And if he's out, they say he's out filming for another movie in Europe somewhere, well, this is your business. If you expect us to take you seriously as an owner, you need to show up for these games. You're The Rock. You can tell the director, hey, I got some business to attend here. And I'm sorry if it's not that important for you to show up to your own conference title games. Don't expect the rest of the Fairweather fans who will give us a chance to take it seriously then. Sorry, you can't have it both ways. Like I said, the picture that bothered me the most last year was The Rock taking a selfie of him working out, drinking his drink from his house while watching an XFL game. You should be at these games, dude. You should be at these games. All right, do I have a point number 8 here? I'm not sure if I do or not. Oh, Chase Garbers coming back was big for San Antonio. I've been saying, I don't care how good you like Quentin Dormady, and I do like him, how good he is. Chase Garbers is the type of quarterback we need to be going after in this league. A 4-year starter in college, and it's showing. When he's in that game over Quentin Dormady, there's a big difference in leadership, his presence in the huddle, his presence in the pocket. He had a good game yesterday, a very good game despite his wrist being hurt. He's the type of quarterback we need to be going after. Him, Adrian Martinez, and people like Jordan Ta'amu, Matt Corral, and people like AJ McCarron who get tired of being a third string but want to prove who want to play. Point number 9. Do I have a point number 9? Let me see. Not sure. Oh. Bryce Perkins not being in the lineup for Michigan, to me, made a difference. I know Danny Etling did not have such a bad game. He isn't. But as I said, the Michigan quarterback, if I was a defensive coordinator, the Michigan quarterbacks, with Bryce Perkins being out, were not going to keep me up. Because once they shut down that running game in Michigan, and you begin to put the onus on the game on the quarterback, it was pretty much a done deal, despite the fact that Birmingham in the beginning tried to give the game away. Point number 9. Despite the fact the Stallions have not looked good in weeks, they still find a ways to win games. That third quarter in that game was about as ugly. Turnover to turnover to turnover to turnover to penalties. It was ugly. And Birmingham, if you think you're going to play that way against this San Antonio team, which has been getting hot at the right time, and they're healthy, especially with Chase Garbers in this game, if you continue to play like you did the last 3 weeks, you will avenge that loss against San Antonio. And point number 10. Do I have a point number 10? I will give it a perfect 10. As we've seen, even a guy like Jake Bates, who missed a field goal, did hurt the Michigan Panthers this week. The Battlehawks kicker, who missed a field goal, turned out to be big because in the end, they needed 2 scores. And with the poor play of the poor clock management of Andy Beck, because it looked like he was just frustrated in the end. It looks like he just didn't know what to do. Again, even though Andy Beck's had 2 good years, he's now, 14-6 in the 2 years. 14-7, include the playoff game. Out of all the young coaches, he's been by far the best, but Wade Phillips got the best of him in the biggest game. And towards the end, that missed field goal by Schmidt of the Battlehawks turned out to be huge, despite the fact that the San Antonio Brahmas kept this team around, and they did. There is no way this game should have been that close, but it was. But it should be. It makes a big difference. Those little things. If you can't convert points after your touchdown, you need those field goals. So, those are my observations for the week. You let me know what you think. Comments down below what your opinion I'd like to know. Like and subscribe to the channel. And for the love of football, we'll talk to you later.